So today I want to talk to our Jukido kids, not just our Jukido kids. It's certainly a relevant conversation for adults as well, but adults, just keep in mind that as I discuss this, I'm going to be tailoring the message a little bit more towards our younger students. What I want to talk to you today about is the term or the principle or the concept of ju. Now, ju is a character, it's a Japanese character, and it appears in the name of our martial art twice. Jukido Jiu-jitsu, ju-jutsu. So in the name of our martial art, ju appears, jiu-jitsu is our martial art, and in the name of our style of that martial art, in our style of jiu-jitsu, the word ju appears again. So that should be a hint to us, kids and adults, of the importance of the concept of ju. Now, ju is usually translated to mean something like gentle or soft, and that term works. But the problem is that ju is not just gentle, and it's not just soft. And it's certainly not gentle and soft in the way that we think about it. So often the term, let's say for example, jiu-jitsu is translated as gentle, right? Gentle, and jitsu means something like art, okay? Or ju can also be soft. Okay? But ju can mean more than that. It can also mean adaptable, right? Or another term would be flexible. Flexible not meaning like you can kick really, really, really high, okay? Flexible not like a yoga master who is really bendy and stretchy, but flexible in the sense that you can, again, adapt or that you're pliable, okay? And so this gentle, soft, adaptable, pliable is a better way to think about the word ju. And it's in Jukido and in ju-jitsu. But soft or gentle, you shouldn't think of it like jello or like powder or like baking soda or like a really, really soft glue that falls apart without structure, okay? That's not what ju is. This little ball, which is my daughter's toy, is a good example of ju. And the reason is that it has a structure, it has a shape, and it always returns to that shape. However, check it out. I can squeeze it, I can throw it, I can crush it in my hand, right? I can sit here and punch it, but despite the fact that I do all that to it, it's soft enough to absorb these pressures, but it always returns to its shape. Now I want you to imagine, kids, that this was made out of glass, like maybe a fancy vase, or the same material as a plate. And imagine if I did that to it, or I threw this glass crystal against the wall. Maybe I threw it as hard as I could. What would happen? Well, we know what would happen. It would shatter, it would break. Now the question is, well, why would it shatter and break? If it's strong, it's hard. Well, that's the issue right there. It's so hard that it becomes fragile. Sometimes people are like that too. You know, sometimes I see big, strong, tough guys, sometimes teenage boys, not all of them, but sometimes they think they're just so rough and tough. And if you say anything to them at all, they're like something that's fragile. They're so hard on their exterior and they're so tough that you say anything to them about how manly they are, and they lose their cool, they lose their temper, they want to challenge you right on the spot. And why is that? It's because they don't have ju. They don't have the ability to be soft or to adapt or be pliable, to be like this, to be able to absorb pressure and just adapt to it. Not lose your structure, not lose who you are, but be adaptable to deal with those things. If I took a plate and I dropped it on the floor, it would break. Why would it break? It certainly has structure, like this has structure, but its structure is too hard. It doesn't have any ju. It's too hard, and because it's so hard, well, it's also delicate. It has to be handled with care, like someone with a real big ego. You gotta be careful around them, because if you say the wrong thing, you break their ego. Their ego is too solid. We want to be like this. Or check out this water bottle I have here, right? This water bottle, imagine it was made of glass. And then I do that to it. It would shatter. But this water bottle, look, it maintains its shape. like maybe a tennis ball, if I threw a tennis ball to the wall, it wouldn't lose its shape, but it's soft enough, it's pliable enough, it's flexible enough that it can absorb pressure, it can absorb, and because it can absorb and because it's pliable, it's adaptable. And this is important in our fighting, in our self-defense, because we're not going to beat someone who's bigger and stronger, strength against strength, power against power. We have to adapt and flow and use their energy against them. But it's also important in life. Think about this, again, if you're too soft, that's not ju either. Remember like powder or jello or glue that doesn't have any structure? That's too soft. Think about your codes of Bushido. Think about your codes of Bushido, kids. Imagine that I'm too soft with my codes of Bushido. I fall apart. I don't have a structure. Meaning, maybe I tell myself that I have veracity, I tell the truth, but maybe under some peer pressure from a friend, because I'm too soft, I don't have a structure. Under a little bit of peer pressure, I fall apart. Now I start to lie. I start not being polite anymore, right? On the other hand, maybe I'm too hard and I go, I always follow the codes of Bushido and I don't compromise at all. And I'm structured like that plate. I'm hard and strong. I don't compromise on the codes of Bushido at all. But now someone asks me a question, I tell them the truth, and I don't have the finesse or the gentleness to be able to deliver that truth in a flexible way that tells them the truth, right? Where I maintain the structure. I'm not going to break my structure. I am going to stick to the codes of Bushido, but I have flexibility in how I deliver that message. I can tell the truth, but I don't need to be rude. I can be polite as I do it, right? And so this is important. Think about kids, right? Little kids, with their like little babies, right? Little toddlers, if they have cups or utensils, usually they're not glass, right? The parents will give the kid a cup that has ju. Their sippy cup has a shape. It doesn't fall apart like jello or powder. It's not that soft, but it is soft enough, despite the fact that it maintains its shape, that if it falls on the ground, it doesn't break. And because it is soft, it's not so delicate. I take a hard plate and drop it on the floor, it shatters. I take the toddler's plate and drop it on the floor, or I take their sippy cup and drop it on the floor, and unlike my adult glass that would break, theirs has ju. It's soft enough to absorb the impact, but not so soft that it loses its shape and its structure. Think about what we're doing now. A lot of you guys are in virtual school for school. You're doing online dojo classes right now. What does that mean? We have the balance of hardness and softness. That's ju. You're structured enough that you're going to continue to do school. You're going to continue your Jukido training, but you're not so structured and so hard that you go, well, if I can't go to the dojo, if I can't go to school, then I just won't do school or dojo training, Jukido training at all. No, you have flexibility, right? You can adapt, you're pliable, you're flexible, you're soft enough, not so soft that you lose your structure. You're going to use the structure that you have. You're going to continue going to school. You're going to continue your dojo training, but it takes a new form. You're flexible and adaptable enough to do it now at home for a little while, to do your schooling on your iPad or whatever device that you have. That's a good example of ju. You have structure, but you have flexibility. You have enough hardness to be structured, but enough softness to adapt to pressure. Think like a basketball or that water bottle. That's how we want to be. That's what the ju in Jukido is about. And in these times that we're facing right now with the coronavirus, we have to remember that our art not only gives us the answer once, but it gives it to us twice. Maintain ju. Strength, but flexibility. Firmness, but flexibility at the same time. I look forward to talking to you soon, kids. Us.